What a surprise. Senna first pick. So they give up Karma, and we're going to play Ezreal, even though... I mean, Karma Ezreal is a very strong bot lane, but it is a flex, obviously. So you do get the Karma Ezreal duo. Noah was good on the Ezreal in this series, even if they lost the last game. And it is going to be a flex all the way to R5. So you love to see that.
This type of comp specifically. So now you can now...
And it doesn't really matter what you pick with Senna. You are going to get pushed in by Karma Ezreal. Their Ashe and Varus are banned, so very, very difficult to deal with that lane. You know, you see the Vi. Not going to be too worried about that. Interesting to take Poppy here. I mean, Poppy's very strong into Vi early. We could see an early invade. Good morning from Sweden. KMGL 17.
Stage, they naturally think that it is a very strong pick. Is leaving us open for a potential Azir. Remember that this Karma might already be the mid lane pick, which means that they're just removing one of the options as a good answer into the Karma. That's the strength of Fnatic's comp right now. They have a lot of flexibility. They just gives you the push prior. It is a good matchup into Cassante still, but there's the possibility that Cassante is in mid.
So Gwen, okay, I mean, this is a good comp potentially. I mean, you love the Karma. You love the Karma and Gwen pairing because it gives you really a lot of backline dive threat. But you have tipped your hand that Poppy's going to be in the jungle at this point in time. And I guess you could do a Tristana mid into Azir. It's popular pickup. I mean, this is a good composition, right? If we look at it, you have pushing pressure here, pushing pressure with the Karma and Ezreal, and you have a counter matchup in top. I mean, Fnatic's draft, I think, is very strong. They do give up the Maokai. So very strong primary engage with Vi and Maokai. The engage of Fnatic is more or less just running at them, so counter engage from Maokai ult could be absolutely huge here. Mad Lions is definitely going to want to kite with their composition. But it's really just about the lane dominance, I think, and the siege potential that's so huge, as well as the split pushing potential with the Gwen that's so potentially devastating about Fnatic. Like, this is a game that could snowball very quickly out of the laning phase. Isn't Corki? I mean, Corki's fine here, too, because then you have Poke with the Ezreal and the Karma. But in terms of just pure early game pressure, the Tristan is better. Like, Razork has a lot of dive potential, by the way. Because they should be pushing, like, all three lanes, more or less. Why do teams put such a high prio on Senna A to C right now as opposed to support? I don't understand what you mean. She builds a support item. She is a support. And you farm up a tank, like Tom Kench or Nautilus, and you run TP, so you have 3 TPs. Does not compute. Does not compute. Yes, I'm Sanic. Also, good morning from Sweden. Wow, a lot of Swedes today.
They are one of our title holders here in the LEC. A difficult thing to get in Europe that is so dominated by Fnatic and G2. And it feels like that this fresh coat of paint is exactly what they needed, as they've now had a very
Papa, you're in Australia?
play style, very different backing.
What you doing in Australia?
Standing up, I imagine feeling a bit tense.
Sad, probably. Your team is on its way to the top 3, possibly, as Alvaro...
No, but I'm from Australia. Oh, yes. Indeed, indeed.
We're finally going to get to see Karma support. Something we don't normally see in the LEC.
Ezreal Karma, harkening back the last couple of years. The Caitlyn Lux counter lane.
But this bot lane, very powerful. Very strong poke. We talked earlier about how Ezreal doesn't typically have kills.
So this is really good because you're going to have a lot of freedom to invade the Vi. And as we know, guys, Vi is a turd for level 3. Especially red side. You know, I love red side invades versus the Vi because if you start blue, it's so free for the top laner. I mean, we've seen people like Zeus just walk in and harass, especially Cassante Vi at level 1. This is prime, by the way. This is prime for invasion. It's why you see the ward go down here. Because Cassante Vi at level 1, many other top laners can just harass the Vi because Vi takes W first and Cassante is kind of useless at level 1. So you can actually put on a lot of pressure. And I think the game plan here is you see the invade. They're waiting to see if Vi goes blue. So a lot of junglers will start red Raptors. So they'll level 2 while the top laner is harassing here. And then they'll come and have a level 2 jungler versus level 1 Vi while their jungler goes away. So that's why the ward is there, to see if Vi starts blue or not. Instead, Vi's going to start Krugs, and we have the invade. Okay, so ward is there. Okay, so we are going to do a Raptor start on this side to try and disrupt Vi. And there we go. So it is as we suspected. Looks like it is going to be a takeaway here. Elyoya does have to smite because he's on Krug, so he's not going to have smite for the contest here. And he's just going to lose his red. Takes Q at... This is unusual. This is unusual. He takes Q at level 2. What? Are we praising Razork for this?
This flash the wall. Gets the red buff and gets out. A little bit scared. Razork will likely know that Elyoya's already smited. Razork there, looking for the stun against the wall.
Like, the thing is, now he knows that Elyoya has Q at 2, which makes his jungle slower than if he has E at 2.
Turn our attention back to bot lane as well. Jun ticks over to level 2. Can he get a nice chip damage?
We'll talk about Adam on SI. It's tomorrow. I'm sure Thorin will have hilarious rants lined up for you guys.
Normally isn't that scary. You pair him up with a range support like Karma, suddenly very scary.
I mean, I like the level 1 game plan, but I do not like the going for red buff. You know what I mean, guys? Like, he actually could just be disrupting Elyoya here.
Elyoya has all the information that he...
Because here's the thing, guys. You don't hit level 2 after you smite Big Krug.
That's true. That's really...
Like, he literally... I don't understand... If they have information here about where their bot lane is, why he's not coming down here, because this is the harassment you do. You don't wait for Vi to equal you in levels. The way that you do these invades, Poppy into Vi, is you Raptor, then you invade. Because Poppy clears Q with Raptors very effectively, and her buckler prevents her from taking damage.
Razork a little bit scared. Razork will likely know that Elyoya's already smited. Razork there. Looking for the stun against the wall. He'll be able to smite this, flash the wall.
So, I mean, I guess that you're concerned about their bot lane doubling back, but if their bot lane doubles back, you can just taunt the Vi and you can just leave and you don't really lose anything because you're both one camp and level 2, and then your bot lane pushes into the bot side and they lose CS and experience. Like, what are they going to do? It'll just be later for their bot lane to hit level 2. It just seems like a misplay to use your flash to, like, steal red buff because it doesn't actually do that much to the Vi. That's my take.
Normally isn't that scary. You pair him up with a range support like Karma, suddenly very scary. And now Fnatic have a huge advantage in this wave. Keep your eyes on Razork and what he is up to. Humanoid, with the push that he has in mids. When we saw Frescowy playing this Tristana earlier, we saw very similar trades, but Razork, unsurprisingly, looking for a dive in the bot lane.
Has Hex Flash as well to get across this wall. No flash on Alvaro. Tries to Hex Flash under the tower. Will be able to survive for a moment. Jun tanking the tower, knowing doing the same.
For a dive in the bot lane.
All right, so Razork actually does hit 3 off of Gromp, so he takes these camps, which give you level 3. So he goes immediately to Gromp because that's the camp that will actually give you level 3 here. He can't take Wolves or Blue and get 3. Do you know I watched the travesty, which is RA versus Thundertalk? No, I'm not watching that. Nice actual Q from Alvaro. But there's the dive. I guess the thing about Elyoya is he had to go to Wolves, and he's not close to approaching 3. So I guess what this does do, actually, is it sets up a very nice dive in the bot side. So definitely a positive to this. I guess this was the game plan, and it ends up working. Yeah. You have W3, so that's not going to work.
A very clean dive from Fnatic to kick off this game. So
So it looks like they wanted to delay after doing that pressure. Ends up being a good play. All right, fair enough.
He started on his Crux. He went up to his Wolves, I think, and then he came back down. Like, this jungle start for Aljoya is abysmal. He's at such a massive deficit right now, and Razork still has his whole top side left to clear.
I mean, people have figured out how to play Poppy into Vi in the early game, particularly from red side. We see this a lot in the LCK.
The reality is that because all of these camps are up on the top side, you can assume that the jungler shouldn't be near your side of the map in the near future.
35-minute first dragon in TT versus RA. Jesus.
Great start. Humanoid with another trade in mid.
Frisco using the shield well there to try and mitigate some of that damage. Bone plating on Humanoid keeps himself a little bit healthier, but not yet popping the pot. Alvaro here, Humanoid puts the ward down and will just position himself on the top side of the lane, or at least as far away from Alvaro as possible, who Hex flashes back. Jun working his way across to make sure there's no tree left in this bush. Control ward down to give Humanoid a little bit more safety as he dashes back in. Scowie dashes away. This is something that Tristana does give you in the mid lane. It's a lot easier to get the lane pushed up, to get priority versus this is the early game, because soldiers aren't doing too much work when you only have a Doran's Ring, and Humanoid can just explosive charge through those.
So big advantage for Poppy so far. Nice dive already. I mean, you really feel like this lane pressure is pretty huge for Fnatic. I mean, look at this. They've got a 1.5k gold lead at 4 minutes into this game. That's enormous for this point in time. I can't believe they lose this. I guess it gets to the point where Senna's just enormous and they don't actually have primary engage, so they can't fight.
He's making a beeline back towards bot. Jun did a good job of trying to match Alvaro on the roam, mitigating any potential gank that could happen in mid. But you look at that bottom goal difference bar, it's all red for Fnatic right now. This early game is going very well.
17-team league. It's almost the size of 2 regions. It's more than 2 LCSs.
Dangerous as Humanoid has just gone back to base. Should have the TP though.
Ward into the pit. We'll see if Frisco decides to come across. Still only level 5. About to tick over to 6 on this next wave. TP in by Humanoid, and I think MDK may have given up the ghost on this one. TP up to the top lane by Mirwin.
5-minute Drake, so you start the Drake stacking based on your mid and bot pressure. This is so good for Fnatic. So good for Fnatic.
As soon as Kasante gets that Kanik Rukan, the lane becomes a lot easier for him to play.
So Dragon secured. A bot wave for them to catch. The Gromp has respawned for Razork. He can now start pathing through his bot side. I mean, nothing but positives for Fnatic right now. MDK on a bit of a back foot, but it's not the end of the world. Finding yourself at this kind of deficit, when we think about who has that early prio, things are just kind of going as expected for MDK. Ideally, they just wouldn't have lost that kill on the bot side.
Importantly, Super as well going for the World Atlas. So it's more of a fasting center position here. The Doran's played Doran's Shield start is very common, and then Super goes back, gets himself the support item. He's just trying to get stacks in this early game, while Alvaro will be the one farming up a little bit more.
Does make that Maokai that bit tankier as well, giving you that extra front line to have to deal with later on. Mantra Q connects, not quite as lethal as what we see from some mid laners who prioritize building all of that AP, but still very obnoxious and provides great wave clip.
It's interesting that they decided to go with the Ignite onto Maokai, because he's the one who's farming instead of the TP that we see on some of the Nautiluses or Tom Kenches.
Spotted out here, last embrace, walk to the side of Humanoid working his way down as well, but Alvaro and Super don't really get a chance to approach this.
Okay, this is another plate taken. Nice pressure right on the minion wave. Fnatic playing this really nicely. Really good early game for Fnatic. Like this game plan is just going so well for them.
How do you ever touch the man? It's Karma Ezreal in his face. He's just a tree.
So much gold is being lost. Nice play from Fnatic once again. Red buff still up, doing a red buff check. As far as I can tell, Razork's red hasn't died yet.
Oh, he's going there now, Betty.
Is he?
It's a caster curse.
Humanoid with another base.
You think Fnatic would be a little bit more high priority about the grubs, considering their split push and their siege is one of the strong points of their composition? You know, getting 5 or 6 void grubs here would be very, very good for them.
07's in the chat. Farewell. 7:50. Time of death.
A polite round of applause from the crowd as well.
Standing ovation. You've lived a good life, Brambleback. Anyway, back to the game. No dragon for 2.5 minutes. Grubbies are up with the prio that Humanoid has in mids. they make their way over. There's a bit of skirmishing in top lane. Eowyn could collapse. Level 6 secured for Elyoya too, but he's quite far away. So I think it's going to be a difficult one to contest.
It's all going up Fnatic's way in this early game. As you said, MDK can kind of expect this to be the way the game plays as Mirwin goes in with the all-out. Near to work from Oscarinin, trying to trade back, dodging away from the Intofu strikes, and both the top laners will just exchange positions, ghosting back towards their side of the map. Razzle believe up a grub there as Humanoid is slid back. The Buster
What?
shot won't be enough as Humanoid.
What?
He has flash!
It's just out.
Why didn't he flash?
Razzle believe up a grub there as Humanoid is slid back. The Buster shot
He literally can just flash over the wall and leave.
enough as Humanoid. Back towards their side of the map. Razzle believe up a grub there as
What?
Humanoid is slid
He just
back. The
jumps in and gets
Buster shot won't
ulted
be
into
enough
turn.
as
What the
Humanoid.
fuck, man?
It's just outplayed. Why use your flash when you know the enemy just 1v1'd you?
A free kill picked up by Frescowie. Now it's MDK's
What?
turn to put some pressure down the bot sides.
And you're stand up against the wall as Jun flashes forward. There's the knock up with the keeper's verdict, and Noah secures the kill.
Very
Okay,
well
then.
played by Razork. Turn to put some pressure down the bot sides.
And you're stand up against the wall as
Jun flashes for tether. Kinda unnecessary, but whatever.
secures the kill.
Very well played by Razork. The problem with Poppy into Vi is mainly for the Vi. You can't.
Well, I'll be doing a VOD review of T1 versus Fox. No, I watched those games last night. They're not worth VOD reviewing.
Chain CCs him into the wall. The follow-up from Jun as well.
We got plenty of good T1 coming up this week, though. There's the Telecom Wars this week, so we'll definitely VOD review that.
Of course, that gold lead is a bit deceptive.
I mean, you would say that, but then you look at the support difference, and you realize there's only 16 gold there. So
True,
that gold
that's-
lead is pretty true
True.
between Senna and Ezreal. Obviously, Senna stacks do help you out a little bit.
I just can't believe it because, like, everything's going so well for Fnatic. Like, all they have to do is just stabilize, keep the mid lane pressure up, start chipping away at plates, continue the Drake stacking, because they are on track for incredibly fast, like a 21 minute soul potentially. With it translates so effectively off of their mid and bot pressure, like it's great. HLE versus KT win. It's this week. It's on Wednesday. Well, I think what happens, if I have to guess, is that because Fnatic has drafted a composition without a lot of primary engage, if they give up one of these Drakes and then end up having to play into Mad Lions in the late game with a very tanky front line of Cassante, Maokai, Vi, with this Senna having the long range with 1,000,000 souls and heals, like they probably lose. But they've been executing outside of the one whoopsie, which, by the way, they did get a kill onto Elyoya. So it wasn't that bad. It's been pretty dominant for Fnatic. What the fuck is Alvaro supposed to do? He's just a turd. Oh my god. Oh, I missed his W. Oh, I missed his Q. Well, if he hits those, then the Maokai dies. Razork doesn't have ults. Oh my god. And then the Senna's fed. What the heck, man? To be fair, you do not expect this turnaround. It's the... Oh, he dodges the W, I think. He dodges the... Alvaro dodges the W with his own twisted advance. And then he gets the shield from the Senna ult. If Noah hits those skill shots, then they are able to turn into this 2v2, I think, and they don't die.
And the tree is gone for. He manages to get out. Elyoya flashes, puts the cease and desist down on Noah. Razzle tries to dash in, but Super gets the shot.
When did the Poppy ult get used? Oh, it was used onto Vi. So it actually does get used. And it hits Vi too. So it's a pretty good... Wait, what? Oh, Vi doesn't actually go that far. It wasn't channeled very long.
The true shot barrage coming out, and Alvaro dashes in with a twisted advance, gets the shield from Dawn and Shadow, and Jun might-
Why does Vi barely move?
Coming out, and Alvaro dashes in with a twisted advance, gets the shield.
Why does Vi barely move? Vi Q dodged it? Yeah, it must be. That's the only thing, because like Vi barely moves, so it must be, she must be channeling Q. Let's see. Yeah. You can see that is the arc at the start of her Q. So she doesn't get hit. That's huge, actually.
Alvaro doing everything he can to escape, dodges the mystic shot, and the tree is gone for. He manages to get out. Elioya flashes, puts the cease and desist down on Noah. Razzle tries to dash in, but Super gets the shutdown. And what a turn of events for MDK.
Not having that Vi ult up, actually huge right there.
And a huge outplay from the MDK bot lane. The Senna ultimate combined with a good use of the twisted advance means that MDK are able to circumvent the damage and walk away the victors. We look back. The chain CC comes out onto Alvaro from the Karma. The damage is good for...
It's a really good Senna ult. The W by Alvaro is also really good. Nice dodging by Alvaro. And of course, because we don't have enough observers, guys, we actually didn't just capture the dodge, the Q dodge onto the ultimate. That was so incredibly critical. So the Drake stacking is now stopped. Remember that they can't get 6 Void Grubs because they didn't take the Void Grub earlier. So Fnatic's win conditions have been pretty stalled out right now. I mean, they still have a couple minutes to get some more plates to establish more of a gold lead, but you definitely would really like to have a more sufficient gold, like a higher gold lead, as well as 2 Drakes at this point in time.
Let's see if they can make a dive happen here. Razuk is hovering around. He has the Hex Flash and looks like he's just going to get away to safety. You notice Humanoid on the...
Yeah, they got 2 plates for it. It's not terrible.
Well, threatening a potential dive.
This guy knows the Razuk's at least somewhere in this area, and he knocks it back. Steadfast presence for movement speed. Will get
Adam to K-Corp, he's better than Cabo. I mean, it probably would be an upgrade at this point in time, but I don't think they're going to let that happen.
I think Razuk's pretty happy with that, though. Should be able to just continue his clear. There's a window on the map, though, where MDK should know Razuk is too low health to really force anything. Perhaps that's an opportunity for Elgoya, and as I say that, look at the bot side of the map. Ward's littered everywhere, but he's making a beeline towards Noah, knowing that Noah doesn't have the support required. A wave is stacked.
LEC is a 1-team region, true, but LCS is a 0-team region. So, you know, LCS would just be loving to even be a 1-team region at this point in time. That'd be incredible if they were a 1-team region. FlyQuest isn't there yet with their bot lane, and Cloud9 is pooping all over the bed.
So often we hear analysts talk about sometimes you just don't have enough people on that side of the map to play forward, and Noah and Jin respect it, and Super and Alvaro take the place in the wave that is gifted to them.
Still a very close game. Exactly what we'd love to see in a game 5. The winner.
Hello, is Perks good again from YouTube? No.
The loser.
Didn't NRG literally beat G2 at Worlds? Yes, playing the best game of their life. While NRG literally lost to all the Asian teams. Meanwhile, G2 actually beat Weibo and D+. Had a bad day, and they were donezo. I mean, NRG played super legit against G2, but they will never have that performance again. Ever. They peaked at exactly the right time.
He's able to hide just around the corner. In the end, I think this is much ado about nothing here, Betty.
Meanwhile, how's NRG doing now? Yep, super good team. Definitely not fraudulent for that win.
Just a bit of trading back and forth. Too chaotic. Let's keep my eyes on Humanoid during that exchange. He's now a full level down, by the way.
By the way, I don't think it's impossible that some of the NA teams make it out of groups. Like, FlyQuest has a very high ceiling, I think. You know, if they can go to MSI and get their bot lane some real international experience, I think we could see some good growth there.
But the Nash's tooth helps Azir so much with the wave play. You can see how much quicker he is able to push this wave in. Humanoid unable to gain priority as easily as a few moments ago. Rift Herald now spawned. Interestingly, earlier on, Razuk only took 2 of the grubs, left the 3rd one up, and we didn't really see anyone walk towards the grubs after that. Just meant that we were never going to see MDK get 5. Mir went down towards this bottom lane. Should be able to dash away. Has the Pathmaker. Just dash forward. Razork tries to, you know...
What's Razork doing?
Just meant that we were never going to see MDK get 5. Mirwin down towards this bottom lane. Should be able to dash away.
What's the purpose of showing here?
Just dash forward. Razork tries
What's the purpose of showing here?
Alert, but...
You actually just potentially give up Herald for this.
Things, you know, just walk
Okay.
Elio, though, knowing Razork-
All right, well, we just show Poppy for literally no fucking reason.
There is a blue buff that can be picked up on the side of Fnatic.
And Noah's going to go grab that. There's one on the side of MDK as well.
Meanwhile, that does leave Oscar and Jun top lane. Not a duo you ideally want if you're Fnatic. Gonna be a little close, but nothing too scary for Elioya. Pushing in that bot tower. Unlocks the siege to begin here.
I
They
don't know
have
if
the
this is about
damage.
killing Mirwin or just about making him a little scared that they could kill him.
I
'Cause then
think
they
it's
can
more
chip
about
away
the
at
tower, was my impression, yeah.
Chip his health
Then
bar,
if
the tower, and
if it's
see
about the tower, then why are we putting Tristana
could be impossible,
The
but they're
awkward
unreal.
explosive shot onto Mirwin instead of the tower? Very weird decision making. So I guess the purpose here for Fnatic is that they want to push out bot side in order to get pressure onto Drake as it spawns. Remember that their primary goal is still to take Drake. They see the top lane or the bot lane, bot duo in top lane trying to take this turret. They know Alvaro doesn't actually take TP here, unlike a lot of the Senna lane mates.
For Fnatic is if they do overload the side of the map with the dragon, Elio can go the other side with the Rift Herald, and then they just charge in and get a tier 2, and it's only second dragon for
I think it
either
would
of
be
the
better
teams.
for them to use it mid though, just to unlock that tower and give you a little bit more control and ease of access into the enemy jungle. You can see Noah's already gotten this initial push. The bot lane has now come down. That top
Okay,
lane
now we
is
can put Herald
fine.
mid and rotate to
TPs
Drake
are
if we
available
want.
for everyone. The dragon is clearly up. Humanoid with the push in bot means that he should have access to the river. Oscar Renan should have access to the TP first as well. The question is, will he choose to get a quick base in before he comes and joins the team?
So many control bots go in that bush at the same time. Bit of poke from Noah. Jun has the Mikhails finished first. Watch to see how quickly he cleanses his AD carry if the fight does begin. Get him out of the last embrace route or twisted advance. Keeper's verdict. It's super.
Will be sent away, but
Good timing on that.
doesn't
Rift
matter.
Herald
Look at
coming
this.
down.
Yeah, they have numbers mid. They're going to siege onto this tower.
I mean, MDK are taking.
It's only second. It's only second Drake though. If they lose 2 turrets for this, it's definitely not worth.
Charge forward once again. It will be taken out, but they get a bit of chip
Yeah,
damage
I
on
like
that.
the play. I like the play from MDK. They don't have to.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, this is good from MDK. It doesn't. The Drake stacking has been slowed pretty substantially, and you should be very confident in your scaling and your ability to group on objectives in the mid and late game.
Top tier 1. It's low enough that Fnatic shouldn't be able to
He's
defend
TPing,
this.
he's TPing, he's gonna get stopped! He's knocked into the wall. Pascal, he thought he had a window, and perhaps he's chucking Razork back through it. He dives in. Razork trying to get away now, but he can't escape the Emperor. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Humanoid push. Now he thought he had a...
Zero ultimate. They're going to move up towards that top tier 1. It's low enough that Fnatic shouldn't be able to
He's
defend
TPing,
this.
he's TPing, he's gonna get stopped! He's knocked into the wall. Pascal, he thought he had a window, and perhaps he's chucking Razork back through it. He dives in. Razork trying to get away now, but he can't escape the Emperor. Meanwhile,
So he died to stop the TP. I mean, you get TP down and you get tier 2, so kind of worth, honestly.
Getting very strong on this Azir.
Kind of worth as long as they don't give up tier 2 mid.
Wonder by Humanoid to give him a kill. And this time around, Razork thinks he's interrupting the TP play, but it ends up just costing him his life. Fnatic, though, still with a gold lead.
All right, not worth.
After securing that bot tier 2, MDK should be able to respond, and that they do. So, a lot of towers dropping. A slow...
Not worth unless you can do something with the TP advantage that you now have, which you have 2 TPs up, so perhaps.
Only one more game.
But probably, I mean, there's not going to be a Drake up until TP's back up, so it's probably not going to be worth it. Now you lost 2 turrets in mid lane, so how do you control Drake from this point forward if you're Fnatic? There's like a full HP tower in mid because you didn't get any pressure off on it because you died with Tristana in the mid lane.
Detriment, I can't remember, what would you call that? The support item deficit thing, where if you farm too much, you lose gold. I need a better name. The tax, there we are, the support item tax, thank you. It's still about 900 gold behind, however, Alvaro is about 700 gold ahead, so it evens out to about a 200 gold discrepancy in that bot lane. Oscar winning trading with Mirwin. Mirwin pops the ghost, Oscar winning pushing in. Razork goes forward, and yep, they got through the Kainic Ruka and shield, but that's about it. Mirwin just tanking them up for days. The wave is going to get pushed in, and Mirwin can just stand in their faces and clear it out.
The towers that Fnatic would like, the mid one and the top one, unfortunately for them, both are inaccessible, which means the MDK is like, cool, we'll just take your bot tower then. We also have stacking waves in both bot and mid, and we can use the pressure that we have in mid to transition to bot, and we can start sieging onto your bot tier 2. If that feels like too much of an overcommitment, they can now shift their priority up towards the top side, because Fnatic have to commit resources to go and clear out these waves on bot. The Baron is up. And so far, all I've done is make a statement about its well-being. It is up.
I love the carrier shenanigans yesterday with the support Ezreal. Yeah, it's silly.
About what's about to happen to it. Looks like nothing. Okay.
Oscar has now finished 2 items, has the Nash's tooth.
I would have respected that from MDK if they did it though.
Yeah, because you're pulling Oscar into the TP, right? You know he has to match.
But they also just they had exactly. They had such a massive window there where Fnatic is forced to go and catch these waves. He should be fine.
Has to flash. Humanoid gets the reset here. He has the Volt Break onto the movement speed, but Humanoid is flashing forward, and he gets him with a buster shot. And now Fnatic
is forced to go and catch these waves. He should be fine.
Yeah, because you're pulling Oscar into the TP, right? You know he has to match.
But they also just they had exactly. They had such a.
This is the pick potential of the speed buff on the Karma too.
To go and catch these waves. He should be fine.
Has to flash. Humanoid gets the reset here. He has the Volt Break onto the movement speed, but Humanoid is flashing forward, and he gets him.
Humanoid went Sundered Sky first, so he's not actually that tanking it with just the Warden's Veil.
They have the Emperor's Divide. They have a lot of tools at their disposal. Oh, Pathmaker almost gets the stop on.
He didn't actually stop Uskarinen from coming through. That's huge. Poppy ult is still up. Punts Azir out. This is so good. How does Fnatic lose? Yes, yes. Huge. Noah, why? Like, you can just turn on to Mirwin right now. He eased forward. Huge play by Frescovi, though. Huge play by Frescovi. I mean, that is massive that they get that kill. But you didn't have to do that. Like, it does stop your siege quite a bit. Jun flashes for it. Oh man, they're so angry. Sorry, they have Humanoid who has hop up. Nope. Okay.
Should finally be able to unlock this top tier 1.
So they have they're gonna have Baron for 3rd Drake for soul points. Feels great for Fnatic. I do like the critical information. I haven't seen this game. I have no idea. It seems crazy that Fnatic loses this.
A lot of time, but the fact that the Azir was knocked away was so massive as well, as MDK just didn't have the damage tools. Now, admittedly, this was a bit overzealous from now.
Yeah, it's just a good play by Frescovi, right?
You understand why he goes from it. Super is literally 1 hit from death, but a nice punish from Frescovi sets up Super to get himself another kill. The Shining
Wasn't there a Rammus game? Yes, LC, KT played Rammus. Piotrek played Rammus. It was silly.
There are still strong scaling options on the side of Mad Lion's Koi, but Fnatic have the gold lead right now. They have the Baron buff, and the dragon is in their eyes.
Welcome back, Lion Man, to YouTube. It's a Razork cake. Oh man, does Razork lose this game? It feels like it's so easy to win this. They're just going to kind of run at you. You should always hit Poppy ult, basically. It's not tricky like trying to hit an Akali on your flank. They're literally just running at you with tanks. And now they're on soul point. They're super tanky, feeling great. Oh my god, why did... Razork, why did you finish Sunfire first? You could have already had Rookern by now. Could have had like Rookern Chain Vest.
Giving it up, they're going to try and push through mid. They don't have a wave as of yet, but it's about 5 seconds away from meeting them at that sun disk. They'll be going for the inhibitor tower now. Fnatic can just recall immediately. Only Noah doesn't have the Baron buff, so
Sunfire is the real Razor Cake for sure. I mean, it's worth it to finish it as like 3rd item, 4th item, but right now you can literally just have a 400 or 500 HP magic shield plus a chain vest. You know what I mean? That's the same price. You have Bami's chain vest, Rooker. It's pretty much the same price.
And by getting Woodfire, it takes them a little bit longer to get towards this mid lane tower. You've cleared out some of those waves.
Value is just not there, guys. 500 HP magic shield, 1 bazillion times more worth.
30 seconds left on this Baron buff. Fnatic, you know, they've got 2.5k out of it. They've added an extra 1,000 on top of it. They've got the dragon as well, put themselves on soul point. It is impactful, but it's not everything they would have wanted. They weren't able to crack that tier 1 in the mid lane.
Looking for a pick on the side.
Oscar winning, no ghosts.
Or you get Warden's Mail, right? That's more expensive. That's 1,000. But I would prefer to have Bami's Rookern building into Frozen Heart, because Frozen Heart has great value into Azir as well, right? So it feels really good.
Once that mid tower finally falls, Fnatic, their Baron has fallen off. They want to get a little bit more though. Could this be a window for MDK? Looks like Fnatic choosing to respect it for now. There's a big wave stacking on.
Yo ho ho, rum ju. Yes, ju is the Korean word for alcohol, like soju, right? So rum ju is what they would call rum, which is what Gangplank says in Korean.
A player that continues to have impact, but so far on this Cassante, he hasn't been able to find it. But slowly but surely, Fnatic is taking control over this game. As we mentioned, a single mistake from Alyoria was all it took. 4k now the lead, or 3.5, give or take, for Fnatic. Soul point in their favor. Baron spawns in about 2 minutes, Dragon about 3. MDK, they're going to need to find a good fight in order to turn this game around.
Let's talk about how these teams might try and start the fights. Obviously for Fnatic, they can
Seraph FF15. Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate that. I don't appreciate the rest of you freeloaders, though. Just plebbing it up in my chat.
Even Alvaro can engage with the Nature's Grasp, but if Razork's in the way with the steadfast presence, it'd be a little bit tricky to get onto Fnatic's backline.
I think this Razork is what makes it so difficult for MDK, because in the previous composition, we think back to just last game, Zac plus Vi. The moment Vi went in, Zac was always there, every single time. If the Poppy, just say the ultimate goes on to Noah, Poppy stands there and says, go on, I dare you, right? And then you have the Keeper's Verdict, as he says, you have the Steadfast Presence, and then the Vi becomes...
You promised to use my Prime sub when it's available. Oh, having a child is incredibly expensive. Live too, so I know that. I feel you, man. It's okay. You're doing the responsible thing.
Jun has a lot of peel in his kit.
So
with
you feel like,
first.
even though MDK have a lot of good engaged tools, in practice, how easy is it actually to execute on those tools?
So then it's about dragging Fnatic apart. If you can get Frescowi coming from one side, Mirwin coming from the other side, Alvaro coming from the other side, then Fnatic have so many points of pressure they have to deal with, it becomes harder for Fnatic then to manage that front-to-back fight that will work so well for them. Also, you have to deal with Oscar Winnin, who is almost at a Rabadon's death cap on this Gwen, who can get into your backline and shred through you. So, a lot of work.
Played a game against Turret as Tank Shiv and triple camp Turret, 6 Void, grab and all 4 drag. Yep. That's the Vi life if you get invaded early. That's the Vi life, man.
There's no reason for him to stay. MDK just want to try and interrupt these backs as much as possible. Frescowi has TP available. I love this play from MDK.
Is that just a tower? It is? Inhibitor tower for top tier 2 trade, MDK.
As much as possible.
Okay. What are we doing? What are we doing? So, you know, how do we get Baron? Wait a second. What the fuck is happening? Okay, so Gwen is matching Cassante. Yes, yes, yes. We have Tristana in mid lane. Azir is pushing up. They take control over Drake's side of the jungle, trying to provide pressure on this side of the map. Remember that Baron buff is already expired. They're trying to get blue buff while they see Azir splitting with Nashor's Tooth and Death Cap. Okay, so they trade tier 2 for tier 2, but they get a blue buff. And they try and send Gwen back to deal with the Azir. You could just send the Tristana. Matty Man! Oh, what a good dude. Giving a tier 1 sum to Taco Nuva 1. That's very nice of you.
But it was crucial because
trade MDK playing the map better than Fnatic there. Fnatic overloading one side.
Play from MDK.
So super weird. I mean, that Azir split pushing is really strong. Once you have Nashors and a bunch of AP. Stoned egoist. Thank you for your Twitch Prime sub.
If they took the tower and then immediately recalled, then Fnatic would have been able to answer. But it's the fact that they got in
Real big fan. Do you like the real big fish? Is that the reference? Thank you.
Step into their red side jungle. Elioya looking for that bolt breaker across the wall. Will just dash back out.
only level 12 for Super.
TP in. That's Mirwin joining the fight. TP invested. It allows Oscar in a bit more free time with the bot wave.
I think I prefer the boss tones as far as ska goes and the voodoo glow skulls to real big fish, but still solid. Ska underrated.
Powerful, but Fnatic, as you say, they go towards Baron, put Oscar towards bot lane. He can push out, and then you apply another.
FF Suzuku, thank you for the Twitch Prime sub.
You can send him to the dragon, Betty.
Oh, that you can. They're actually going to get him to start this one off. And then this dance around the dragon.
So we're gonna try and trade Baron for Soul.
Now, Frescowi has just burnt his TP. He'll now
No, Gwen. Oh, okay, hold up. I have to pay attention to this, guys. This is getting so stupid. I have to pay attention to it.
MDK then use the fact that Fnatic are resetting to step into their red side jungle. Elioya looking for that bolt breaker across the wall. Will just dash back out.
Only level 12 for Super.
All right, so trying to chunk them out with poke, get control of the mid wave. The call here, I mean, this is a pretty standard call to have your top laner go for Drake while the rest of your team threatens Baron, but you have to actually have prio, guys. You actually have to have prio. And the way that this call normally works is you leave your top laner with TP at Drake because the other team is at Baron, and you send 4 over here knowing that you have TP, and you harass them while they're doing Baron. So what you do with your top laner is it's a punish against them trying to trade Baron for Soul, is what it is. But it doesn't work when they have control of the mid wave and your team is just split. Especially because they have a lot of primary engage. They have Maokai ult, they have Vi ult, so they can just chuck this out. Like, this is not how you do this play. Okay, so they get Baron, but they lose Drake. Soul is more valuable than the Baron, but it's okay because the Mad Lions is still 2 away from actually having any Soul themselves. So technically you do trade up right there. Technically you do trade up.
They had good control over the mid wave and they saw the dragon in their eyes denying the Soul, but Fnatic made the correct judgment call, put the pressure onto the Baron, force MDK to choose, divide their resources, and then just a great individual play from Razzle. But in this tense,
and immediately they look to burst out this Baron. It's gone.
Yeah.
Oscarin is going to try and force him away, but Mirwin's on his way down to help out his mid laner.
So he misses I'm watching the picture-in-picture. I mean, it's a 2v1. Like, they shouldn't be allowed to send 2 people to Drake, by the way, while they only send 2 people here. But it's whatever, guys. They actually did trade up, technically.
a very tense moment. 2 people had to be committed onto that bot lane.
It does kind of suck that your very fed Gwen, who is almost Flame Horizon Mirwin, is now not without, or is without Baron on a push now, but it's okay.
They had good control over the mid wave and they saw the dragon in their eyes denying the Soul, but Fnatic made the correct judgment call.
Time to check what's left of your sanity at the door. Abandon all hope, all ye who... It's all hope. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Yeah, all right. Well, here we go.
Before they got that Baron. So now they have 2 minutes, 20 seconds to try and push out those waves and actually apply pressure to these towers. Otherwise, all they've done is delay the game by a bit because they didn't get the lasting buff in the Mountain Soul. They gave up that dragon. Oscarin is still dead for another 4 seconds, and now they're in a 4v5 situation where actually they can't apply any more pressure on the map. When Oscarin gets back up, it will be a little bit
It's okay. Razork, you know, he's got his Warden's Veil now. He is building Randuins. We don't feel like building Frozen Heart. It's all right. It's all right.
Just buying their time, waiting for Oscar to start pressuring. He has the death gap. Likely working towards a Void Staff. Could also be a Crypt Bloom as well.
3-ADAM Ezreal. This Ezreal is going to be really strong now that Shojin is completed. The Gwen is fucking enormous, guys. Like, nobody should be able to 1v1 this Gwen in a side lane.
For an angle, he may have found it.
Super's 110 stacks, Betty. Oh, over 210.
Yep. I mean,
Look at the damage.
this is why Senna's getting picked, guys, right there.
Song helping out a ton there for Super.
That's the ultimate committed from Alvaro, though. Keep your eyes on Oscar. Level 18
Trade
now for the
Maokai ult for Poppy ult, but pretty bad that we can't get pressure. And, you know, the Gwen dying is actually huge here because Gwen not having Baron is actually causing there to be less pressure on the side lane. Now, why is Gwen walking over?
Pushing in top lane. Could create a flank here if he wants. That tower in the way, though.
Oh, it's so on a knife edge. This game, this next fight, one mistake is all that defines a winter split for both these teams. Winner faces BDS tomorrow. You have less than 24 hours to prepare. And you have to come back fighting. For the loser, your split ends today and you have
Oscar is level 18 at 30 minutes. Holy shit. This Gwen is so big, guys. This Gwen is so big. And you have Karma to speed this Gwen up into the back line. This is the Gwen dream. This is the Gwen dream, guys.
Jun, the only rookie, will experience beat out fresh blood.
So Gwen needs to apparently go farm the jungle right now and do nothing with the Baron because they can't do anything mid lane, and because Gwen doesn't have Baron, they can't do anything, I guess, in the side lane.
Really worth it. Does delay the game a little bit, but you gave up the dragon to do it.
And Senna, let's have a look. If I read that right, it's 117.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 118 now. 119. One more. Oh, there, 120 in fact.
That's a lot of stacks.
Yeah, I think it's 90, 80, 120 extra range.
Crit strike
Wow.
chance 60%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It
a lot
also
of
says
range.
lifesteal 0%.
When you max out crit chance, you start getting lifesteal
Right,
off
of course,
it. So
yeah.
only at 60% right now. It's Fnatic setting up around this top side. Mirwin. I mean, does he take
He
damage?
did take damage. It's just a magic shield, I think. We didn't
MDK
see
now
it.
have the first path towards this mid lane.
But
They've
this
got
is
priority.
sneaky. Noah trying to get behind so he can grab the wave.
He'll grab most of it. 3 minions remain. Pings towards the mid lane. Fascari will eat through that tower.
Look at El Yoyo, though. I mean,
how,
you're right.
like, MDK just have it such.
What are we doing?
He did. Of course, yeah.
This is the second time they have prioritized enemy blue buff
Fnatic setting up
over their own tier 2 or like towers.
Crap the wave.
He'll grab most of it.
You don't need to take that scuttle crab. Baron isn't up for 2.5 minutes.
Look at El Yoyo, though. I mean,
That doesn't do anything for you. You're literally just letting this Azir take your turrets for free. What the fuck?
Gonna get an inhibitor, maybe even 2, because they can go through mid towards
What?
and then they can make a beeline back towards the Baron with full control around the objective.
Might only be 1. Do they even get that?
They took blue buff and crab to lose an inhibitor.
A moment too late, but still the mid lane inhib down now, and the Baron up in 2 minutes. That inhib's down for 5.
The one thing we have to say is that Fnatic's engage is very limited, right? They don't have many tools to actually start these fights.
No, they have no tools to start the fight. That's what I was saying. I was talking about this yesterday, guys. I'm sick of seeing 0 primary engage comps in this meta.
Jun on the back line, Nature's Guard's coming out. Gwen is immune, but Noah is not. And Mirwin goes in, looks for the path maker.
Okay, Ezreal ult misses. Ezreal Q misses. Gwen actually just gets stunned. He gets knocked up. And I don't know how you missed that Maokai. Guess he was trying to maybe seeing if he could hit Frescovi. But I think you just don't even want to shoot it that way. You can actually just hold on to your ult longer.
He is taking damage, as you say, but look at the damage on Jun on the back line. Nature's Guard's coming out. Gwen is
Where's Razork's ult in this?
Mirwin goes in, looks for the path maker. We'll just try.
He fucking ulted Mirwin? He ulted Mirwin, who is unstoppable, so he just doesn't actually move. That's the ult. That's the Poppy ult, guys. And then after Poppy ult is down, they decide to engage. Gets virtually no value out of Gwen ult. Then they counter-engage, because remember, they actually have engage. And you're playing into the Senna. Oh, it's just over. Game's just over. That's fucking crazy. That's just it, because there's super minions there. That's it. That's just the end of the game. What a dumb way to lose this game.
The smiles on the faces of Mad Lions Koi know that they have done it.
From the bottom of the tier lists into a tier of their own. MDK finish Fnatic.
They literally lost the game for Blue and Crab and River. And then to try and kill a Cassante when they absolutely do not have to take this engage.
No, it is not. Here we go. Everyone goes in.
Remember, Maokai ult is down.
We'll just try and dash away here.
You can fucking walk away and play for Drake.
Damage on Jun on the backline. Nature's Guard's coming out. Gwen is immune, but Noah is not. And because it went to Gwen, Noah thought he was safe. He's locked up. Did you say? But look at the damage on Jun on the backline. Nature's Guard's coming out. Gwen is immune, but Noah is not. And because it went to Gwen, Noah the path maker. We'll just try and dash away here.
I just don't even understand why Noah's there. He eased forward. He eased forward. He has flash.
Gwen is immune.
He actually just gets hit by Maokai root.
Dash away. He is taking damage, as you say. But look at the damage on Jun on the back.
He gets hit by Maokai root
Coming out. Gwen is immune, but Noah
because he doesn't get behind anybody and because he doesn't feel like flashing.
thought he was safe.
He could have flashed here, guys.
Locked up, and MDK absolutely outplayed Fnatic.
This game is so troll.
Pride of their region, and they are pride of very mad lions. Locked
Yeah, he thought Gwen was blocking, but he has time to react to this.
Gwen is immune, but Noah is taking damage, as you say. But look at the damage on Jun on the backline. Nature's Guard's coming out. Gwen is immune, but Noah is not. And because it went to Gwen,
But the thing is that Gwen doesn't block it. Gwen doesn't block it if Gwen is in Shroud.
damage on Jun on the backline. Nature's Guard's coming out. Gwen is immune, but Noah is not. And because it went to Gwen, Noah thought he was safe. He's locked up, and MDK absolutely outplayed Fnatic. They are the pride of their region, and they are pride of very mad lions.
Like, Gwen doesn't block if Gwen's in Shroud.
Look at the damage on Jun on the backline. Nature's Guard's
You can
coming
see that. There's no blocking.
But Noah is not, and because it went to Gwen, Noah thought he was safe. He's locked up, and MDK
It's a good call by Medic, by the way.
play Fnatic. They are the pride of their region, and they are pride of very mad lions.
A single fight was all it took. Just like that, the mid lane is open.
But regardless, I mean, he eased up
And because it went to
into this situation. Like,
the path maker, we'll just try and dash away. He is taking damage.
remember, he eased forward knowing that they have Maokai ult up. The experience awaits. Thank you for your resub at tier 1. I appreciate you. Like, I don't understand why we're even moving up on this.
But Noah is not, and because it went to Gwen, Noah thought he was safe. He's locked up, and MDK absolutely outplayed Fnatic. They are the pride of their region, and they are pride of very mad lions.
I mean, it's a good re-engage by Mad Lions. This is why you have primary engage on your team, guys. Fnatic couldn't engage on them for the whole game, and they couldn't get control over the mid lane
A single fight was all it took.
because they got outranged and the sustain was better on Mad Lions. Stuffing, thank you for the Twitch Prime.